That down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of my absolute favorite movies of the year so far has been Superman. I love that movie, man. I have so much fun with it. Ann and I, well, we saw it more times in theaters than any other movie this year. Maybe Fantastic Four will catch up. Anna and I just saw our third screening of Fantastic Four. I still think the best movie of the year is Sinners, but Superman is right up there. One of my favorites. I love what they did. And it was the byproduct of a great decision by James Gunn as the co-CEO of DC Studios to step in and for the first movie, write and direct it himself. Set the tone, set the pace, set the bar for everything that needs to come after it. And I applaud it and I love that decision. What I'm a little bit apprehensive of, though, is James Gunn writing and directing too much, because writing and directing a movie is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all encompassing, completely possessing job. And he's got another job running a studio, being the creative head of an entire studio. And I need him focusing on that. As a fan, I want him focusing on shepherding the whole thing. Write and direct every once in a while, but not often. Well, David Zaslav, head of Warner Brothers, has now confirmed that James Gunn, according to Variety, is going to write and direct the next Superman movie, which they are calling a super family movie. Now, you guys might remember that James Gunn's been a little bit coy about this. He goes, yeah, maybe the next time you see Superman, maybe it will be a Superman movie, maybe not so much. Like, oh, what's that going to be? But then we talked about his interaction on his Threads account where somebody said, hey, when are you going to start talking about, when he's going to start teasing the sequel to Superman? He said, I just did, talking about how he's going to be writing the next script. But what David Zaslav is calling is a super family. This is what the article actually says. James Gunn will write and direct the next installment in the super family, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav confirmed during the company's earnings call. Gunn had previously said in various interviews during the Superman press tour that he was writing a new movie featuring David Cornsweet's Superman in it, although he always remained coy about whether it was a standalone Superman sequel or something else. Zaslav provided no clarity there, opting to say the next movie in the super family, but it's news that Gunn will direct the movie in addition to writing the screenplay. He served the same dual roles for Superman. All right. Let's talk about the movie itself. For the movie itself, as a massive fan of James Gunn, and I have been for a long time, especially ever since Slither.
Yeah.
I mean, he was making fun stuff before that, but Slither was the one that put James Gunn on my map. And it's still my favorite James Gunn film. It's amazing. If you guys haven't seen Slither, check it out. So good. Just absolutely phenomenal. I love it. As a massive James Gunn fan, I am excited about the notion of a new James Gunn film, particularly with Superman. Because, man, I'm not kidding, every day, 2 or 3 times a day, I catch myself just singing to myself, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. All day. I have Superman in my brain. I love this film. So good. So I love that idea. I really do. However, there's also the film industry fan in me, which is I really need James Gunn focusing on his real job.
Yeah.
Which is shepherding and guiding the entire DCU. Because when he's writing and directing a movie, he ain't got time for anything else. And that's great for launching the first film. It's even great if he waits to direct the first Justice League movie they do, whenever that happens. But I am concerned that no matter how great you are, and I think James Gunn is pretty damn great, he's still just human. And I do have major concerns that something will give. When you try to do 2 different things that require 100% of your attention, something's going to give. And I'm a little bit concerned about that. Now, as far as the movie itself goes, when they start saying the super family, a lot of people wondering is World's Finest next? No, it's a Superman, Supergirl movie. I personally, no insider information. This is just me as a fan speculating. To me, it is clear. The next Superman movie is a team-up movie. It's him and Supergirl. They're them referring to the and Krypto, of course. Krypto will be there. Unless Krypto dies in Supergirl, which I don't think will happen. You're going to have Superman, Supergirl, and Krypto, and that'll be it. And that's going to be the super family movie they're talking about. And if it is, I'm all for it. Can't wait to see it. Maybe Lobo will be in it too. Who knows? But yeah, film fan in me loves it. Film industry fan in me, little concerned, going to be honest. And what do I think it's going to be? I think they're talking about a Superman, Supergirl team-up movie. Maybe they'll call it House of L, the movie, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, Rob, there's a lot to unpack here. You heard this story. What's standing out to you?
Well, and James Gunn has spoken about this. One of my favorite things growing up was DC used to put out 100-page giant-size specials, Superman Family being one of them, because there were comics like Darkseid, originally debuted in Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. And they produced Superman Family comics, 100, like this one right on screen. And they were usually a combination of reprints and new stories. And I loved them. And James Gunn has talked about those 100-page giant-size specials. I remember, I think it was Justice League 114. That was a 100-page giant-size special that reprinted all of the Earth 3 with the evil. There was the only superhero on Earth 3 was Lex Luthor, and there was Ultraman and Power Ring and Owlman, and that's it. There it is. That comic book was my favorite comic book of all time.
Good job, Jonathan.
When I was a kid. And the Earth 3 storyline, when Crisis on Earth 3, that was when the Justice League and Justice Society teamed up against the crime syndicate. And it was the greatest thing. I mean, look at that cover. Who doesn't love that? And just like the Superman Family, I mean,
such a cheesy looking gun, just the hand like pew pew.
Come on, man, don't say that. This was the
single thing.
When I was a kid, this was the 60 cents for 100 pages. My God, this is the greatest comic book I owned. I had the Justice League was my jam, but this particular comic, I must have read this comic 100 times because it had the Justice League and the Justice Society and it was amazing. But that's what James Gunn is going for. So the Superman Family includes Lois, it includes Jimmy Olsen, but it could include, there's the Superman of the Justice Society that we've never met, because I'm curious, Mr. Terrific led the Justice Society for a long time. And post-crisis, the Justice Society and the Justice League existed on the same Earth. So are we going to see that? I don't know. But I would love to see, because there was a Superman, the Earth 2, where the original Jay Garrick Flash came from, and the Superman, they were like 20 years behind us. That's why there was a discrepancy.
Yeah.
I'd love to see James Gunn do that.
Here's a question for you.
2 Supermen.
He's referring to Super Family.
Yeah.
Right? We've heard that we do know one of the projects they're looking at doing, although there's been no movement on it, is a Teen Titans.
Yep.
Could Super Family also include a Superboy?
100%. And
think so?
If you look at Star Labs or Camden or any of the different Superboy, I mean, that could absolutely.
Because we already know Lex has already cloned Superman, so Superman can be cloned.
Yeah.
So do they do it the same way where Superboy is a young clone of Superman? Do they say it where do they change it up and say this is another Kryptonian survivor? Do they say he is literally the son of Superman from a future that's come back, aka Cable or something? I don't know. What do you think the approach
I think they could do all different kinds of things. I think everything is opened up. And I think that the Superman and Lois show, one of the great things about it was that Superman trying to be a father, it doesn't matter how powerful he is, that doesn't make him a better father or not.
Yeah.
And having a teacher, a student relationship it always makes, I mean, look, if someone said to me that there was going to be a Dead Poets Society or a Goodwill Hunting vibe where Superman is the Robin Williams teacher character, I'd be like, count me in.
Yeah.
Why not?
I like what they did. Okay, so what about my concerns? Because and I love having you here for this discussion. I've directed movies, but on smaller scales. On a smaller scale. As a director yourself and a writer.
Well, it's all encompassing.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you are writing and directing a movie, let's go back to the film you did with William Shatner.
Right.
Okay.
The only film I've directed.
When you did with on that scale.
Yeah.
Because you've directed a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But when you directed Free Enterprise with William Shatner, how much free time did you have?
0, because I was also editing the movie too. It was. I know I had 0. And the funny thing is even when you're writing a script, It is all encompassing. You're never away from it. You're thinking about it 24/7, and it's very hard to focus. I mean, if you're the head of a studio, you compartmentalize your time. You literally are counting out the minutes and seconds. You're like, okay, I'm going to get to work at 8:00 and I'm going to work until 10 a.m. And at 10 a.m., I'm going to schedule meetings from 10 a.m. to 1. And at 1, I'm going to have a half an hour or hour-long lunch, maybe a half an hour lunch and a half an hour lunch meeting or whatever. And then you're compartmentalizing your time. But then I don't know. And if you're going to write, maybe you write from 4 to 8 and have dinner. I mean, if you're going to structure your life that way, but not when you're directing a movie.
When
you're directing a movie, you don't have time.
Let me bring up another example with you. Not even on the scale of a full motion picture. When you were producing and making True Noir,
right,
your audio drama,
which I also edited,
which took forever for you to do.
Yeah.
You literally didn't even have the time. There was like a year-long, almost, I can't remember the exact.
I was gone,
about a year.
So yeah, I left this show. I was gone from June through December.
So you were gone for a while because you literally didn't have the time to come in and just do this show, let alone another full-time job.
No, and what was really interesting about that is I had 25 actors that, let's just assume that was just during the week. Each actor was a day. Sometimes I had more. But then I would go back and you have to edit. And that show is 4.5 hours. Totally, it's 4.5 hours long. So I directed it, edited it, produced it all. And it was all encompassing. Like, I didn't think about anything else really for 6 months. I did YouTube shows when I could, but literally I was doing YouTube shows from the same place that I was editing from. So it wasn't, it was rough because you don't have any time to think about other things. You really don't. And running a studio, I don't know. I mean, if you like right now he's writing for James Gunn, he knows how to write scripts. So before he goes into pre-production or whatever, maybe he's taking time now, 6 months off. He'll still write, but he'll take 6 months off to spend on studio business, tee up everything, and then he goes back into directing, which makes sense because if they're only going to make 2 movies a year and TV shows, that's manageable, I think, because he gets everything ready to go and then passes it off to other people that are going to write.
By the way, some people bring up, what about Peter Safran? Well, the thing is, Peter Safran is not looking after the creative shepherding. He's looking after more of the business side. And by the way, Kevin Feige doesn't look after all the business stuff himself either. He's got several big name people that work with him that look after that stuff for him.
Plus, think about the business aspect of film in terms of where are we going to shoot? What are our tax credits going to be? Where around the world are we going to go? How many people are we're going to hire? What is our effects team going to be? And if you've got TV shows and movies in development, Peter Safran's phone is ringing 24/7. I can only imagine his call list of everybody he wants to call back by the end of the day. It's got to be huge, 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 huge.
But now ask John Campea, the film fan. Am I excited that James Gunn is going to write and direct the next super movie? Yes, very, very much. And I really hope they do find a way to make this whole thing work because I'm a fan. I'm like, if I didn't care, I wouldn't be worried about it. I'm only worried about it because I care. And so we'll see how this all kind of shakes out. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? David Zaslav's confirmed that James Gunn is going to write and direct the next super film. Do you like that? Do you not? Are you worried about him trying to split the jobs? What do you think a super family movie means? I think it's Superman and Supergirl. Do you think it could be Superman, Supergirl, and Superboy, and Krypto, and Steel, and whoever else? Whatever you guys think about all this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.